You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, breaking news, flashbangs and tear gas aimed at protesters as the Border Patrol arrives in the Bay Area. And among those struck, a local priest reportedly hit by a canister. Those demonstrators turning tense as an apparent federal crackdown on immigration comes to our own backyard. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. So let's get right out to Veronica Macias, who is live at Alameda Coast Guard Island. So let's go to Veronica right now. So Veronica, what is the scene like right now?
Right now, Ryan, I can tell you there was a cheer from this crowd of protesters that have been blocking the intersection of Coast Guard Island here. One of the ministers taking to the speaker, letting the crowd know about a press release that just came out from Mayor Daniel Lurie's office, where he says he had a conversation with the president just last night. And the president, he said, clearly saying that he is calling off federal deployment to the city of San Francisco. Now, these protesters out here cheering for a moment, but the minister also pointing out, what about the rest of the Bay Area? What about Alameda? What about Oakland? All these people here are here to deliver a message to the president, to the federal government, saying they do not want ICE, they do not want troops in their communities. They want their children, their neighbors, and their friends to be left alone. Now, this morning, for the most part, this protest has been peaceful. Right now, we saw the fire department coming in. It seems like someone wasn't injured, but somebody had somewhat of a fall, so nothing that is critical. But earlier this morning at about 7 o'clock, we did see the presence of agents here. You had Customs and Border Protection that was coming in just as the entrance to the Coast Guard Island is blocked off. And you had other cars weaving in, but you had the CBP agents not messing around here. The moment they arrived, there was one agent that opened his trunk. There were two flashbangs, and there was a minister that was struck in the face. He had tear gas, and as he wiped it away, we heard from those ministers tell us their sense of anger. Take a listen.
They treat a pastor like that and peaceful protesters. How are these ICE agents, which are totally out of control, treating our immigrant neighbors? They have completely lost a moral compass.
In this area. But again, Ryan, I could tell you the reason why these people are still remaining here after the announcement from the mayor's office is because they still believe there is a threat to other communities in the Bay Area right now, where they fear they may be seeing scenes playing out like the rest of the country, where you have mass raids and people being deported at their ICE appointments. These people referencing how the president has said these federal interventions are there to pick up the worst of the worst. And these people here telling us, we've seen that that is not the case sometimes. You have a lot of people who are being picked up who have no criminal background at all. And that is what they're protesting here this morning, Ryan.
Okay, and Veronica, do you know, kind of just break down and kind of paint the scene out here. I mean, how many Border Patrol agents and ICE agents are we expected to see at the Alameda base over there? And also, I know things have kind of tampered down just a bit, but there was that moment where it did become very tense. Has it calmed down since then?
It has significantly calmed down in comparison to what we saw early this morning. And we know we're expecting somewhere around 100 agents. And that tends to be the fear, because earlier you only had this one area, the pathway, the sidewalk directly in front of the base that was being blocked off. And We've now seen hundreds of protesters arriving, and they have this entire intersection, as soon as you get to the base, blocked off. They're circling the area. And the fear is when those CBP agents start to arrive, that there could be disruption, because there was no, for lack of a better term, patience when it comes from the agents when they arrived. They meant business. They were here to get into the base, and their path was blocked, and they wasted no time in throwing those flashbangs and letting the protesters know they needed to move out of the way. So we have heard from city leaders reminding protesters all along. The mayor yesterday being more assertive with his message to the president, saying, we do not need the military to come in here. We have things under control. Crime has dropped in San Francisco, and the violence will only come from the chaos that any military presence will create in our streets of San Francisco.
And we do want to make a distinction when Daniel Lurie's talking about the feds have called out potential federal deployment in San Francisco. He is talking about the National Guard. In Alameda, we're talking about ICE and Border Patrol. But I have to believe, and you had mentioned this earlier, what was the reaction, though, when Daniel Lurie did make that announcement?
Well, there was a cheer in the crowd, Ryan, here. You have some of the ministers who have been coming over the speakerphone. And right now you have a lot of chant, you have a lot of singing, we've had a lot of prayer. But they have taken moments here to sort of address the crowd, let them know what is in their surrounding. You do have what's interesting. You see the U-Haul truck that is sort of blocking the intersection, and you have another vehicle with a sign of no ICE, no troops. And this only leads me to believe that this is here for the protection of the protesters that are present, because we don't know what direction the agents are coming in from. So people have had to be very careful. But the moment that announcement was made from the minister over the speakerphone, there was a cheer from the crowd, but also quick to remind everyone that we don't know what this necessarily means for other areas of the Bay. You still have Oakland, you have Alameda, where we have seen raids in the past, and that is their belief that they're going to continue to see that, and they remain here present for neighbors in those communities that have no protection yet, or have not heard from the president say that the federal presence is being called off there in their areas.
Okay, Veronica Macias reporting live for us from the Coast Guard station in Alameda. Stay safe out there. It's good to see, at least right now, the protests have kind of tampered down just a bit. Well, like Veronica mentioned, we did see some moments after protesters say a man was hit by a tear gas canister. So there was some tense moments out there. A crew on the scene confirming a Border Patrol vehicle drove past the crowd of protesters and started using flashbangs and smoke grenades. We are told the man that you're seeing right here, his name is Jorge, that he is a pastor with an interfaith group.
You've got some blood on you. You're all wet.
I obviously was shot with whatever that Border Patrol has directly in my face.
They got a pastor.
And I came and saying we're here in peace, and he didn't care. So there's nothing else to say. He wanted to cause harm to me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing better, yes.
And moments after that happened, we spoke with his fellow pastor, Laura, who told us she came to urge federal agents to turn away from violence.
And we were here just walking in the crosswalk. Jorge, I actually work with him. And he's a pastor, I'm a pastor, and we are here to express our displeasure and also to frankly give all of these people a chance too. All of these folks who came in to work, they don't have to be in this job. They can reclaim their humanity at any point and decide to do something different.
Other interfaith leaders also showing up this morning in support of our local immigrant communities. We heard from Allison Tanner with Lakeshore Avenue Baptist Church in Oakland.
We're here to say that we must protect our community if our community is under attack 1/3 of Oakland residents are immigrants. They are our neighbors, they are our educators, they are our public officials, and we must stand up in this moment to ensure that everyone is safe. For those in the community who are able to come out and just bear witness to what's happening and hold vigil, keep your eyes open.
So as we talk about what's happening in Alameda, of course, we're talking about Border Patrol, we're talking about ICE agents. We're also talking about the National Guard, and we do want to mention this, that we had mentioned that a statement from San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie. He says that the feds has called off the potential federal deployment in San Francisco. Let me read you the statement. The mayor says President Trump called him late last night, and in that conversation, the president told him clearly that he was calling off any plans for federal deployment in San Francisco after the mayor told the president that San Francisco is on the rise. The mayor's statement made no mention of federal plans in other parts of the Bay Area. Of course, we're seeing the deployment of ICE and Border Patrol in Alameda. And former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi released a statement on the planned deployment, saying in part, "We will not be intimidated by political motivated fear tactics. Our state and local authorities may arrest federal agents if they break California law, and if they are convicted, the president cannot pardon them." Meanwhile, on the other side of the argument, conservative political commentator Richie Greenberg says he would have welcomed a federal crackdown on crime in San Francisco.
Bring in all those different agencies to do what they do best, because clearly San Francisco's leadership in City Hall is incapable of doing what they really need to do to serve our interests.
So we reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, who released this statement. DHS is targeting the worst of the worst criminals, illegal aliens, including murderers, rapists, gang members, pedophiles, and terrorists in cities such as Portland, Chicago, Memphis, and San Francisco. As it does every day, DHS law enforcement will enforce the laws of our nation. We'll keep following the federal deployment here in the Bay Area. Once again, Border Patrol and ICE in Alameda, the federal deployment of the National Guard, that has been called off for San Francisco. You can find updates anytime at KPIX.com and streaming on the CBS News app.